What's up, you guys? Welcome to episode 8 of the G.I. Joe action figure reviews, as today we're going to look at Airtight, released in 1985. And one of the coolest things I just learned about him was that he's from New Haven, Connecticut. East Coast represent. This is one of those figures where it gained a pretty decent popularity, and despite having more of a simplistic design, I have to admit there's something about him that contains a certain charm to it. Maybe it's the green and yellows, maybe it's the fact that he looked so cool in the animated series, or maybe the fact that the comics made him such a badass character. Whatever the reasoning is, I definitely agree. His bio states that as a kid he could hold his breath the longest, had the largest dinosaur collection, and was labeled as the weird kid who grew up to be an even stranger adult. However, it takes a weird person to walk into a cloud full of toxic gas under contract by the government. Airtight is known as a jokester, a prankster, and plays dirty when the fight escalates. Looking at the head sculpt, the helmet looks pretty cool, though its design is more on the simpler side with not much detail. As this certain aesthetic is seen throughout, I still like it for what it is. The green on the helmet is colored nicely with two black stripes going towards the back. His eyes are sculpted fairly decent with not much of an expression, and we can assume that he is wearing goggles, but the mouthpiece has some details to showcase some vents, and though this was a lot earlier than this specific brand, it kind of resembles a Mortal Kombat mask. The torso is somewhat of a missed opportunity because as much as I like this hazmat suit, you'll notice that there's a lot more detail that's sculpted, but it's all blending within the respected colors. However, the green vest is complemented by the black chest piece device on the front, which has a few knobs, switches, and a non-removable respiratory hose that's connected to the back of the figure. The left and right arms seem to have some stitching, which may be hard to see, but it's contrasted against the green gloves, which contain minor sculpted lines. And other than that, there is not much else going on. Airtight does contain a green belt with little details on it, and the pants are basically all yellow with two pouches on the sides. I kinda wish there was some more coloring here, but seeing how it's an 85 figure, I'll let it slide. The boots are the same color green, so at least all the greens are consistent, which I do like, and with some creases by the ankles, so that's really about it. His accessories contain a weapon called the Sniffer, which is interesting, and despite the unique name, at least it's sculpted well and can resemble or be utilized for a Ghostbusters weapon. His proton pack, the compressor pack, looks pretty good as it's not the standard green, but more on the olive-ish color. It also contains two fans on both sides and some details and texturing by the bottom. Now hear me out, if this was an updated version, those fans would be amazing if they could move. Anyhow, it has a connector for the hose which can be attached to the Sniffer weapon. Though an overlooked feature, but the highlight here is the air hose which connects from the back of the helmet into the compressor. However, I didn't put it on properly and have it wrapped around the compressor so it doesn't stress the hose or cause it to break. Sometimes for these old figures you gotta cut corners to have the conditions last. Overall, there's not too much to say about this figure, however I can definitely see where they were going with it, and with a little imagination it can really add a lot to its character aesthetic or story because there's a lot it offers. But too bad it's just hidden within the two colors, whereas if each individual sculpted piece was colored, it would be considered one of the best figures for sure. However, the vision was there and I give them credit. So with that said, let me know in the comments below what you think about this figure and be sure to give a like and subscribe for more reviews.